Clock in. Kahawa, mchana. Karibu sana. This is Kenya Revolutionary. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades. Vipi mlipokuwa. Mliopo. I don't even know. I can't even speak Swahili anymore. Let me try again. Vipi. Wherever you are, let me just put it like that. Whether you're in Europe, Africa, Asia, Germany, Antarctica, Atlantis, Australia, New Zealand, Karibu sana. This is Kenya Revolutionary. Hey. Topic ya leo topic ni ya leo. Mjadala wa leo ni Luhyas are the new Luos. I'll repeat. Luhyas are the new Luos. Hey, what do I mean by that? I'm not saying that Luhyas have become Luos. I'm not saying Luos were Luhyas. I'm not saying that. I meant that politically, okay? It seems that Luhyas are taking a step in the political scene to inherit what was perceptually viewed as the Luos' political position as far as opposition is concerned. They were the people who were agitating for change. I'm getting us tribal, not tribalistic, but tribal in defining how we perceive our politics in Kenya. I'm getting into it right now. So log in if you want to contribute. Ndio hiyo hapo kuna nini, hata kuna link ukitaka kuingia hapo kuja uniambie mambo 2 3 4 7 6 7 whatever the case is, okay? Because I have to define what I mean. I know some of you are up in arms. What do you mean? What about the other tribes? I will break it down to you. It's simple. It is very simple, okay? So karibu sana. If you're watching wherever you are, ukipata notification na unaona kama notification iko hapo hivyo, tafadhali, the first order of business ni kufanya nini? Ni kulike hii video. Harakisha, hata usiharibu wakati. Ukiona tu sura pop live video unaweka like na mara moja. Na kama huja subscribe, if this is reaching you and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe, okay? Sawa. Sawa na sukari ama. Anyway, hebu tuendelee. We are about to start officially of what we are talking about. And I wanted to review 30 minutes, the first part of Hinga. I think his name is Charles Hinga. He's one of the government PS, whatever the case is, the guy who was advocating for this Affordable Housing Act. It's now an act. It's no longer a bill. It has been passed. So it's an act. And we shall review his interview and see what he says. And this man was incoherent and deceitful, and he was downright a liar, pathological liar, shetani bilisi. But we shall get to that. Mutulie, we'll get to that. We'll get to all of that. It might be a longer stream or a shorter stream. I don't know how much it goes. I freestyle my way to this. I see things, I make a topic, I come in and I talk about it. Mimi ya tengenezi noza tutokae hapa tupange tunasema hivi tutapanga. Mimi naendelea vile mambo inaendelea, okay? So, hebu tuingie. It seems that so much stuff is happening in Kenya. Nakwambia Kenya ni kama tunazidi kukubomoa nchi kila siku. The amount of corruption that is happening. I saw Ledama Olakina, whatever his face is, posted on his Twitter page where he just mentioned the number. He didn't name the names or give us the number, but he said basically the amount of Kenyan ministers, people who are in the government, who are building or buying houses in Dubai while the counties are complaining of not getting enough money. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. It shows you how crazy our politicians think. Watu wanaangalia kuingia serikali to become rich. But nobody is saying anything. We are still busy. You know, let me go back, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades. Let me go back and say this. Remember a few months ago, I told you in one of my lives, na niliwaambia mwende mkaziangalia, I don't know which one it is. I said that this president, okay, unajua vile watu walikuwa nafurahia the president is having a bad day, sijui his affordable housing imekuwa shut down by the high court and the law that requires ile mambo ya Haiti, kutuma watu Haiti pia imekuwa shut down. Remember that? And I said, all these things will pass, because all these things that he's passing, these unpopular things, are coming from the Western governments, our puppeteers, our ventriloquists, okay, our puppet masters. When I say our, I mean the Kenya the state, which is run by, it's headed by Ruto. Ruto takes his advice, takes his command, not his advice. They never advise him. They are telling him, they are commanding him, they are demanding from him, giving him much orders. He's receiving it from Buckingham Palace, and Washington, D.C. And I told you guys, wacheni kufurahia ati hizi sijui hizi, this sending 1,000 troops to Haiti has been shot down by the courts. That does not mean anything. This president will operate outside the law. Mupende msipende. And that's what he did. They concocted some stuff, they made a change on this affordable housing, and there's nothing that has been changed. Wameweka tu hapa, wametoa koma, full stop hapa, wakaeka pale na ikapitishwa tena. Ndio hiyo imepita. And it was done by the blessings, with the blessings of the opposition. Usijifanye, stop listening to wakina Babu Owino ambao wana pretending that they were opposing this. Sijui wakina Otiende Omolo. They are not opposing it. These are same puppeteers that are being given money by the Western puppet masters. Let's not fool ourselves. Nakwambia. Let's not fool ourselves. I will tell you, when a real revolutionary leader comes in, you'll see this. You shall know them by their fruits. You shall know them by their fruits. You shall know them by their fruits. From what we have seen so far, I do not believe any politicians. All the politicians except Okiya Mtata are all rotten to the core. Rotten. They are taking their orders from the puppet master, the Western puppet masters, both opposition Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. Because you cannot claim to have the parliament who are supposed to be checking the executive, making legislative laws that will stop all this nonsense that's going on. Just look at Nairobi, what's happening with Sakaja. Look at what's happening with Gladys Wanga. Gladys Wanga is not the best performing governor. That's bullshit. She's not. Anaeka maridadi. There's corruption. Bishop Oginde already told us how much, 700 million that was lost. Siaya is being looted by Orengo. Wavinya was in New York on TikTok. Okay? Anakula life. And I enjoy life. Saya amerudi huko Ukambani, anajifanya ati hana pesa. The county has no pesa. While she's taking trips. Hii ndio mchezo inaendelea Kenya. Both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. Azimio now are quiet because they're sharing the loot with Kenya Kwanza. That is the truth. Raila alishapewa PC yake, ndio huyo ameenda AUC. He's not there yet. He's just traveling around. Private jet ambayo inalipiwa na your taxpayers' money. That's not his money. Raila never uses his money. Nyinyi wajinga ambao mnachangia ODM na hiyo mambo mengine, na pia serikali ambayo ilimpatia sijui how many millions, nyinyi ndio mtalipia hizo vitu. That's what's going on in Kenya. Hakuna timamba leadership. And yes, we talk about, we need the young leaders. That's just a bunch of nonsense. I told you, age is irrelevant when it comes to leadership. Leadership is all about what your standard is. Are you person who are an upright person? Do you have a vision? Do you have a plan of how you want to transform our society, our country? Do you have a political philosophy that you adhere to? How do you want to implement your vision of improving the society. You see, Sakaja is wobbling. He failed to show up in the parliament to be grilled. The man is grossly incompetent. Anakimbia hapo, anacheza na watoto hapo, sijui nini, lunch for kids, sijui nini. He has no idea of what he's doing. Absolutely no idea. He's a total, absolute failure. Failed the Nairobians, Nairobi County. It's a disaster of biblical proportions. Nakumecha is another one. Name it. Name any ministry. Even Hinga, Charles Hinga. I'll interview. I will. I'll review his interview at JKL today. 7 days ago. Charles Hinga is not incompetent. He's corrupt to the core. Some people know what to do. They know what they should be doing, but they choose not to do it because wanataka kufaidika kiwenyewe, kibinafsi, kukula pesa, taxpayers, and they're asking you for more taxes. This government, and when I say government, I'm not talking about the Kenya Kwanza. When I talk about government, I'm talking about both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio have failed us. I'm not buying into this mchezo wa paka na panya ya kina sijui Babu Owino wanashikana na Peter Keter na sijui wa Muchomba. Those are just side shows to entertain people, to make headlines. Ati sijui we'll do this. Ati we'll start this chama so we can bring change. You are all in the legislative body, maybe with the exception of Peter Keter. I don't know if Keter is still in the MP. But for those who are MPs, you can do something as an MP, member of parliament. But tunataka kucheza hizi mchezo ati sisi pia tumechoka ati to give people an idea ati sisi ni vijana tumechoka na sijui nini, wacha tushikane hapa tuweke press conference tuseme ati tutasaidia wananchi. Wananchi walishakuchagua already, saidia by legislating and oversight. So usituambie unataka kusaidia namna gani? Tuache hizi mchezo. And I don't know why they keep on telling us about the nonsense about who is going to take over ODM and Paranya and these other useless people. Who cares whether Hassan Joho becomes the next head of ODM? ODM is done. Kwisha. Marleza kabisa. Imeisha. Now, there's a political heat wave that is heating up Western Province. Waluhya ni kama wamechemuka. Luhyas, my Luhya brothers and sisters, Omwamis, muko hapa kweli? Where are you, ladies and gentlemen? Nataka kuwaona. Tafadhali, simama, stand up. Nataka kuwaona. Luhyas are becoming, they are the new Luos. Politically speaking. Luos, historically speaking, when we're talking about Kenya, they have always been the face of the opposition. I'm not saying other tribes are not, have not. They are valiant, gallant men that always opposed oppression from all tribes. Whether we are talking about the Matibas, whether we are talking about the Martin Shikukus, whether you're talking about, you name it. But I'm saying, since siku za Kenyatta, when Kenyatta fell out with Oginga Odinga, who said, no, I'm not going to be the president. I'm going to wait for the meter reader. Huyo jamaa, huyo Mbocha, alikuanga Mbocha hapo Buckingham Palace, to be released to come to Kenya and become the first president of Kenya, prime minister, and also president of Kenya, of the Republic of Kenya. Okay? Then, Luos, who had great influential politicians like Tom Mboya, who was gunned down by Kenyatta, Jomo, okay, was a great mind. Great mind. Luos have always been influential. Ouko, who was in Kanu's government, was gunned down by the what? Raila Odinga, before he became useless and senile, when he still had some sense, before 2017, made some noise. He didn't do so on behalf of Luos only, but on behalf of Kenyans. He didn't do it by himself, of course. There were people who were there. Even the Martha Karua, who is nowadays as useless can be defined. Once upon a time, she was a lioness who defied Moi, but chose to become useless. Now you can see him interviewing one-on-one with Jirongo, saying a bunch of nothing that can help Kenyans. The point I'm making is that Luos, most of them being one of the among first Kenyans who went abroad and had high education, were the face of resistance, oppression in Kenya. They defied the ruling party. But of late, yes, I know you might be asking yourselves, but hey, what about the Kikuyus? What about the Kalenjins? What about the Kambas? The Kikuyus and Kalenjins, the general sentiment is there are two tribes that have been in power since independence. And these two might have been related. It is rumored that Gachagua may be Moi's son. And the resemblance is clear just by looking at Gachagua. From his teeth, eyes, shape of the head, and ears, he looks like Moi Jr. So Kenyatta 1 became the president, died on the seat. Moi took over for 24 years. Akajaribu kurudisha mkono, but Kenyans rejected the son of Jomo, and he gave it to another Kikuyu. Actually, he didn't give it to him. It was taken from him by Kibaki, who had the goodwill of the Kenyan people in 2002. Kibaki had a golden opportunity to revolutionize the economic state of Kenya, fight corruption, kill tribalism, since all tribes rallied around him and gave him the mantle. Unfortunately, he fell to the same trap that his predecessor had dug Kenya into: corruption and tribalism. And so, Raila Odinga, again, marshaled his forces to take Kibaki out. And indeed, he took him out. But Kibaki will not budge. He lost the election and unleashed the deadly forces on the Kenyan people. Majority being Luos, using the son of Jomo and the Mungiki to kill, try to shut down any reprise, any rebellion. Raila, being a conman that he is, he agreed to a power-sharing arrangement called Government of National Unity, which denied him the presidency and gave him a position of prime minister, which he didn't yield or wield any real power. Real power still stayed with Kibaki. Then came 2013. The son of Jomo, with the help of the West, rigged the elections. And they threatened Mutunga to make a judgment that even any lawyer with any sense was baffled by the decision to uphold the victory of the son of Jomo, the murderous Uhuru Kenyatta, who ruled with an iron fist, shredded the constitution, again, killed a lot of Luos with the help of Mainanjenga and Mungiki, and killed anyone who will oppose him. Again, bribed Raila Odinga, the conman who sold the Luos for 2 cents, 2 pieces of silver, and a private jet, and red carpets. Sold the Luos into the cold. Not only the Luos, but Kenyans in general. Ten brutal years of economic hardship, debt, tribalism, and unlawlessness. Then he installed the distant relative of Moi, Samoei Ruto, who's another Kalenjin. So power has always resided only within these 2 communities, Kalenjins and Kikuyus. While Luos, after the death of most of our freedom fighters, like the agitators like Shikuku, Matiba, and the rest, only Raila Odinga was the last of that dying breed. Knowing that he was getting the respect of majority of Kenyans, Raila took that respect to his advantage and used it to buy himself favor from the ruling party, from the son of Jomo, the murderous Kenyatta, Uhuru, and the corrupt William Samoei Ruto. Raila joined them. So Kenyans are left without a face of resistance. Miguna tried to fight for electoral justice, and he was detained, tortured, brutalized, and forcefully exiled out of the country. And Ruto had to strike a deal with him before he came back. Told him, hey, I'm bringing you back, but hey, there's conditions to this. You can speak your mind, but don't dare try to overthrow my government. While I might not be accurate in that, but one can only guess based on what's happening, based on their behavior. Ruto bringing Miguna back seems to be a gentleman's agreement, even though by law Miguna was supposed to be brought back. The court had ruled over that. Miguna seemed to be the tomboy of our generation, the man who was going to dethrone the corrupt conman Raila Odinga as the face of rebellion, resistance, and political activism, not only as the Nyanza kingpin, but as the Kenya's fresh face of the opposition, real revolutionary opposition. But after he had his gentleman's agreement with Ruto to come back to Kenya, yes, Miguna has been active in his Twitter page, but not as active politically as he was before. Understandably so. Because Ruto did him a solid. Ruto could have simply ignored Miguna's cry of justice to bring him back to Kenya. But he reached out and fulfilled his promise to bring him back. So Miguna has to respect him for that. So now here we are in Kenya now. The tribe that has been known, we all know since the death of Tom Mboya, that Luos and Kikuyus have always been on loggerheads politically. We all know the general consensus sentiments among Kenyans is that there's two tribes that are in power. And Luos have been the ones that are trying to resist the government's brutal rule. I'm not saying Luos are the only ones, but they're the face of the struggle. That's why Ruto used that now famous phrase, watu wa kung'oa reli. But now Raila Odinga, who have enjoyed his position as the face of the opposition in Kenya, has betrayed the Kenyan resistance movement again for the third time. And this time, he's looking to retire from his conmanship by taking a seat as the AUC. Kenya are left with no face of opposition. But fear not, because it seems like something is brewing in Western Kenya. The Mulembe Nation is not sitting pretty. They are divided politically, and they are fighting for the soul of the people from Natembeya to that irredeemably corrupt Speaker of the House, Wetangula Moses, the most corrupt speaker in the history of humanity. The Mulembe Nation boasts men like Okiom Tata, who may not be holding rallies in public in Busia, where he hails from, but uses his knowledge in law to fight for the common mwananchi. An effective way, more effective, less deadly than the methods that the conman Raila Odinga was using, less confrontational, using the Constitution to pin down the undemocratic, unconstitutional policies of William Samoei Ruto administration. The young Sifuna, though being part of a terrorist parochial political party, ODM, is showing his face, roaring from the floors of Parliament, never embroiled in stupidity stupidity and corruption and the empty talk like the ones you hear from Babu Owino and Wandai, or Pio Wandai, and the charlatan from Rarienda, Omolo something, Amolo, whatever his name is, and the mentally enslaved Ledama like Kina, who went on national television telling Kenyans that the British left Kenya better off than they found it. Coming from a Maasai, this man should be hanged to death. These men, if you look at that class of people, and I will name them. If you were to parade this man in front of Kenyans, Ledama, Babu Owino, Junet Mohammed, Hassan Joho, and Edwin Sifuna, who seems to be the most reasonable candidate among them, because they say these are the young men who want to take the mantle. Sifuna stands out of the rest. Junet is a non-corrupt Suna MP who only shows up there a few days before the election. Stole agents' money. Opia Wandai might as well call himself Raila Odinga's second wife. He's obsessed. I think he has erotic dreams about Raila Odinga. Can't take a breath without saying Raila Odinga. Ledama, who praises the British, is another faker, self-absorbed politician pretending to be caring about the common mwananchi. Babu Owino is Raila Odinga's errant boy. Sifuna seems to be the reasonable option. Too bad he's part of this terrorist organization called ODM. Too bad. It's sad. And he might go down the history as a man who wasted his life following Raila Odinga and the rest of those useless politicians from ODM. So the Western province seems to be brewing up, looking for a leader, not only to represent its people, but a face of national leadership. Musalia Mudavadi is the Luhya's version of Kalonzo Musyoka. Yes, his dad was a somebody who worked with Moi. Kijana Wamalwa was a man who stood up against Raila Odinga for Ford Kenya. His brother is somebody just because of what Wamalwa, who he was. Eugene is not known for anything. Luhyas have had smart politicians, but in the last 2 decades, apart from Miguna, who stood up against the system, we have a bunch of people who are followers, not leaders. That's why I don't rate anybody besides Miguna. Owidi is in UDA. He's making noise against Raila Odinga, but he doesn't have the national appeal, and keeps on praising this Kenya Kwanza government, which is corrupt. So I don't take him seriously. The Luhya Nation only have Miguna to look at as a real revolutionary. And even him, after what he went through, he may decide just to take a back seat. So lawyers, Mulembe Nation is who we might look at as the tribe that shall inherit where Luhyas left off. Luhyas decided to follow the conman Raila Odinga, and they seem, most of them will sync with him. Some of them follow William Ruto, and they will sync with him. I'll play you a clip of ODM, so-called Luo leaders, politicians, speaking against Joho. I can care less about the battle between Oparanya and Joho. Oparanya is not qualified to be a sub-chief. He owes Kakamega County 57 million that is stole, embezzled. Him and his 2 wives. Let me play you a clip. Like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Like the video. I will play you these Luo leaders. Luos have given up their seat as the valiant freedom fighters. And lawyers are rising, taking over from their cousins. Let me play you this clip so you understand what I'm talking about. Look at this insufferable leaders from Luo Nyanza. Let's see.
Baba is heading to African Union.
First of all, somebody who refers to another man who is not his biological father as Baba is sick in the head.
And as leaders from Siaya and members of ODM from Siaya, we are going to rally behind Wandai so that we ensure the party remains strong and solid.
Baba is heading to African Union. And as it looks, there is no challenge. So going, he has to. And there have been agitation from all quarters as to who takes over from Baba. We want to make it clear that the position of party leadership in ODM, and by extension Azimio, will not fall vacant. Baba will still lead Azimio as a party, and he will still lead ODM as a party. And if there will be any need to have somebody superintend this coalition and our ODM party, we shall look at regional representation of ODM. We are not going by any other consideration. And it is a fact that it is only Luhya land that has 100% support of ODM. And therefore, if that vacancy will arise, Luo must present somebody on that negotiating table, and at best, chair that table. And we have no apologies to make about that. We have our leader, Honorable Pio Wandai, who has steered this ship since we gave him the mantle. Any negotiating table without Honorable Pio Wandai remains null and void. We will not recognize any deliberation that will come out of it. So, Honorable Wandai, on behalf of all Kisumu MPs, where I have given myself the position to be their leader, we are saying we are behind you, we will support you, and we will ensure that all that Baba stands for will continue unabated.
All that Baba stands for will continue unabated. What does Baba stands for? Besides selfishness, corruption, and chaos. I see you, good ear. This is what I'm talking about. Not even Oparanya. They don't even want Oparanya. Forget Joho. Not even Oparanya, the Omwami, the Luhya man from Western Province. They want their own. They should even name ODM Ohangla Democratic Movement. This is absurd. Luos and Luhyas have always been on the same side of the political aisle, historically speaking. Of course, with their cousins, the Kisi, who are part of Nyanza province. Of course, there are some times when they fell out kidogo, but historically, the Kisi have always had historically also great men. But there's one that I can only give my hat on, take my hat off on, is Maraga, Chief Justice Maraga. I don't rate Sam Ongeri, Professor Sam Ongeri. I don't know if he's still alive. I think he passed away. So the general perception is the Kikuyus and Kalenjins have always had power, enjoyed power, and they've exchanged that since independence. I'm not saying all these other tribes have no part to play or didn't have great men. No. Even within the Kalenjin, even within the Kikuyus, there were great men who fought for this country. I'm just saying, Kenyans, when we talk about politics, we look at it along tribal lines. And I'm going to get into that tribal purview lens to help explain why I think the Luhyas are going to be the next face of the opposition and not the Luos. Yeah, Goody is saying that's the reason why they say Babu Owino came late. Yes. Because if you look at Nyanza province, and compare to Western is so, we have divergent views in the Western party, Western province, sorry. Mulembe is hot with politics. Okay? Nyanza, there's none of that. Nyanza is like listening to a choir. Raila, 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 Raila. You can't, that's why I don't rate Babu Owino. If Babu Owino was to stand up and say, I, Babu Owino, I'm leaving ODM and Raila Odinga, and I'm starting a party. Without Raila Odinga. And speak up against what Raila Odinga is doing by betraying his followers over and over and over again. If Babu Owino does that, then he'll have a stamp of approval from the real revolutionaries. As long as he keeps on licking Raila Odinga's butt crack, Babu Owino is a nobody, but a celebrity. That's it. I'm telling you, for you Babu Owino followers, he will never be the president of Kenya until he proves himself. You don't get it. It's either two things in Kenya. Either you rig yourself in, and the only way you can rig yourself in is if you have the help of the West, the English, the British, and the Americans. As Uhuru did. Uhuru has never been the president of Kenya. He never was voted in, same as Uyunani. Ruto just became the president of Kenya in 2022. That one he won. But before that, Ruto was a fake deputy president. And Uhuru was a fake president for 10 years. Never won the election. Never. I don't care what you think. And by the way, fuck your opinion. That's the truth. I'm telling you the fact. With all due disrespect, Uhuru was never the president of Kenya. He never won. And if you don't like what I'm saying, eat shit and die. We give props to people who have balls, kahunas. Miguna stood up and flipped off Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. And Ruto. Sifuna is showing signs and we're encouraging him. He's speaking his mind and he's always stood up, not faking the funk like Otiende Amolo and Babu Owino, Ledama, Joho, We give props to people who stand up against all odds. Don't tell me about Ndindi Nyoro. He can barely speak. Well, he doesn't know anything about economy. He understands economy through textbooks. If you listen to his reasoning, his dumb fuck can't explain shit. But he's smart to dumb people. So you're proud when he speaks. Because you don't know shit either. The whole Kenya Kwanza government is a sham. The whole opposition of Kenya is a sham, with the exception of a few. ODM is a terrorist organization. Same as Jubilee, full of prostitutes and murderers. So don't kid yourself. We give props to people who stand up. Okia Omtata stood up even when people were attacking him. Si mshenzi mwingine anajifanya mtu wa bangi hapa. What's his name? This fake fuck. Anaitwa nani? He's fucking getting me annoyed. What's his fucking name? Umse wa mabangi anaitwaje? That was pretending regardless sijui nini, we haven't helped the judge, kuja huku sijui nini. What's his name? Wajakoya. We give props to real revolutionaries, not these fake fucks. If you want to fake, go to Sound Candid, where you have mentally deranged people who call themselves pastors and all that. Talk about bullshit for 4 hours. Go up there. That's your place. And give praises to this con man who has conned Kenyans and Luos for more than 30 good years. We are not looking for fame over here. We are not looking for subscribers or people who will make us feel good. We like people who have the odds against them. Even if they're going to lose, they still stand up to their principles. Sifuna went and voted against finance bill knowing he was going to lose, but he showed up and voted. Babu Owino did not even show up, didn't vote even in absentia. And you want to come tell me that you want to rule the nation? Okia Omtata by himself went and put a petition where nobody in the parliament looked to see if this thing was being passed illegally. He went and put it the petition. Even when Ruto threatened him, he went and put in a petition. Regardless, no fear. He only had himself and his self-belief. Miguna was abducted by Uhuru Kenyatta, almost killed, forcefully exiled when Jeff Mwangemi was laughing, talking about I'm not boarding. thought it was funny, people making fun of him, but he stood up for electoral justice and the Constitution when it was not fashionable. It was not something that people thought it was fun, but stood up as a man while Herman Manyora and the rest of these idiots were in NTV talking shit. That's the kind of leadership that we need. Not these fake fucks like Babu Owino who are pretending to be for the people just because they are fucking celebrities. Let me see your credential, and I'm not talking about paperwork. I want to see what have you fought for when it was not famous. Babu Owino, Hassan Joho, Opio Wandanyi, Otiende Amolo, Ndindi Nyororo. I want to see your CV. When did you stand up with the Kenyan people when it was not famous? I was arguing with Dimwits in Mulembe when they were threatening me and calling me names when I was speaking against Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto with no one to defend me. Been kicked out of sound candidates, but I stood up because I knew these idiots didn't know what the truth is. Where were you when the Kenyan people were being gunned down in Yalenda? Where were you when Luhyas were being killed in Naivasha? Where were you when the Kikuyu children were being banned in Kiamba? Where were you? Did you speak up? Where were you? Where were you, Ndindi Nyoro, when Uhuru Kenyatta was organizing, giving my Nanjenga and Mungiki in the State House, giving them money to go murder ODM supporters in the streets? Where were you, Ndindi Nyoro? Where were you? Martha Karua, where were you? When Raila was telling us, wacheni kubweka bweka, where were you? So you judge a man when things are not going well, when the odds are against him. That's when you judge a man. You don't judge them when everything is dandy. Raila is going to AU. The handshake is on. That's when you see Babu Owino coming in, organizing people. Where were you when the things were fake? When people were dying and the whole country were against you? Where were you? When people were arguing with me in Mulembe, telling me the stupid things about Raila Odinga, the fake conman, blood clot. We stood up, held my position, 10 people against one, telling them that this man is a conman. And now you see him going to AU. When Okiya Mtata was by himself, nobody even knew who Okiya Mtata was, stood up, made a case and went to the courts and said this thing is unconstitutional. Raila did not join him there. Babu Owino did not join him there. Sifuna didn't join him there. Nobody joined him there. He didn't have to get paid by anyone. He did it for the love of Kenya. Whether you're a Luo, Kikuyu, Omwami, Kamba, he did it for the love of Kenya. For that child who is in Samburu dying of lack of food, of clean water. He did it for them. And then it's sound candidate mwongea ujinga for 5 hours every day. Baba is going to nampeane pesa huko while you are on your stupidity. And then huko. And then mkaongea ufala huko. And then mkaongea huko ujinga. Praising Baba every day. While he's taking advantage of you. And that fake pastor, you anaitwa nani? Who the fuck his name is? Bernard, Leonard, whatever the fuck his name is. It's asking you for donations. Namna peana. Go get there and get fucked mentally. By that idiot. Analipona Raila. Instead of standing up for what's right, mnajifanya hapa sijui nini. I'm not here to make friends. I don't think you understand who I am. It's been 1 hour. If you want to subscribe. If you want to, if you don't want to subscribe. We don't beg for no bombo class friends. Shout out. Let me shout out to people who have been here. Gudia na kuona kwa Rebel Salute Gudia kama kawaida. I'll be out of here. It's been 1 hour. I'll see you guys later. I can't even subscribe if you want, comment, share, like, whatever. Fuck it. I'm hot. Peace.